Let's walk through the applique really quickly. Okay, this is just to show you the applique method that I'm using with Misty Fuse. This is Misty Fuse, and you can see it's very gossamer, and there's no paper backing on either side. So for me to use this, I take a piece of freezer paper and I trace my design to the freezer paper, and then I'm going to just stick it onto some fabric with my iron. Make sure you draw on the matte side and cut it apart so that the glossy side is against the fabric when you do this. Okay, then I want to press fusible to the back side of this, and in order to do that I need to put a piece of parchment paper down. The parchment paper keeps the glue from sticking to my ironing board. Then I'm going to take my Misty Fuse, put the Misty Fuse down over this, and right here in the corner I have placed the fabric over the Misty Fuse. Now I can't press right on top because it will totally goober up my iron. So I need to take another piece of parchment paper, place it over this, and then I'm just going to press it. Now you want to press it long enough that it melts the glue into the fabric. Now you can see it's stuck together. Let it cool and then peel it apart. Okay, I peeled off the parchment paper and I'm just going to cut this away from the Misty Fuse. And now I have Misty Fuse on the back and I have my freezer paper template on the front. When I cut, I don't move this hand. I just close the scissors with this hand, and this is the hand I use to change the direction that my fabric is going. And by doing that, I'm able to get smooth lines. Okay, that's it. Now this leaf is ready to put in position on my quilt top, and once I have all of my pieces in position, I can press this down with the iron and it will stick to, it's not a hard stick where it makes it really hard, it stays pliable and soft, and then I can do my stitching around this, and I can either do that when I'm quilting it or I can do it beforehand by putting some tearaway stabilizer underneath to make my fabric more rigid so that it doesn't buckle and pucker and do all that stuff. I just helped Mom put her applique on her quilt top, and here is how we did it. We laid it on the floor. I started out with it on a design wall and it was killing my neck. I was reaching up trying to put things and pin them, and it was a mess. So if you have a spot on the floor that you can use, lay your quilt out on the floor and then begin with your long stem piece so that it is even with, perpendicular to your seams, and then put your bottom on. And then once you get those situated correctly, then you can start adding all the other pieces and they will go into position where you want them. Once you've stepped back, looked at it, decided where you like it, then just take your iron and make sure it's hot and just press it so that the stuff sticks to it. Then you can bring it over to your ironing board and really press it to make sure that it holds. And I would recommend putting a piece of parchment paper over the top of it, because no matter how careful you are, somehow glue ends up around the edges of your applique and can get on your iron, and then you have to use hot iron cleaner or run it over a sheet of balance to get all that cleaned up. One other thing. In your patterns on your kits, when you go to cut out your applique, you're not going to have enough fabric, and that is totally my fault, and I apologize. That is because when I wrote the instructions and I did the applique, I originally had it smaller, but it just didn't look right. And I gave her the fabric requirements for the smaller unit, and when I enlarged it, I forgot to tell her to do the larger sizes. So you're just going to have to pull from your stash, which you might like better anyway, and do that. So good luck. Have a great time. If you need help, call me or email me. You know how to get a hold of me. and I'm putting it at the end of this video, so if you can't find it, then you have it right here. And it was really fun meeting all of you on the cruise, and I cannot wait to see you again.